Hello, welcome to my channel. The conversation for today is based on the Eye of Africa. Of late, the internet is awash with people claiming that the Eye of Africa, or the Richat as it is called, is Atlantis. And when you check the claim they lay on the table, you will discover that if it is not so, it will be accurate at least to about 90% of what you want to see. But the irony of it all is that none of these people fighting to bring dignity to Africa are Africans. By the way, the Eye of Africa is situated in West Africa, in the country of Mauritania. And it was discovered because it can only be discovered from space. You cannot see anything if you are there, right there on the ground. But if you are in space, you will be able to see it. And when they see it and put the picture on the net, people use Google Earth to check that and say, well, this must be Atlantis that is talked about. And it makes sense. In the olden days, if you have to colonize a place, they have to be close to you. It's not like in modern days where we have all this ability to travel very fast, where you can have your colony far away from you. Those days, your colony should be very close to you. And Atlantis, as they find it now, or as the claim registered, is very close to Egypt. So what Solon says and what Plato wrote down correspond to what we expect of what is called the Atlantis. But none of the universities in Africa, and I'm sure we have many universities in Africa, none of them is doing anything to uphold this claim. And it's an irony because if something like that happened in Europe, you see European scholars falling on one another to establish the truth of this. Or if it's a biblical relics, you see biblical scholars falling on one another to establish this. But African scholars of all hue and color are doing absolutely nothing about this. And you wonder why. And after all said and done, Africa will turn around and say Europe is discriminating against them. I mean, I don't know what to say. It baffles me that all the people fighting, at least I've not met any that are Africans by origin. All the people that have wrote about this or have a blog about it or have a YouTube about it are all Europeans. And then what is the meaning of discrimination? Will Africa look inward and question themselves? It seems the way that our eyes disappear into the desert is the same way that our real eyes is not working. None of the head of state is commissioning people to go and have a look at this. We have planes that can fly up, and at least survey this place and see whether, and call our scholars to check. But we are doing absolutely nothing. We are just sitting down. And then after sitting down, then we make some useless claim. Europeans, you do everything for us. They manufacture what we use. They say we have no brain. They say this, they say that. And we still rest on whatever they say. Whatever the European says is right. If they say Egypt is not ours, then Egypt is not ours. We just relax. Notwithstanding all the claim that is right in your face, the image of black man carved out of the strongest stone, they still say, no, Egypt is not ours. All the drawings on the wall painted black people. They know how to paint white people. They do that also. And in the later part of the Egyptian empire, you see white people coming in and ruling. And they just draw them as they see them. Matter of fact, there's this thing between the black Africans and the mulattoes in the drawing. They distinguish each people that you can easily make out which person is from which part of the world. I'm using this video to talk to African scholars and African government to at least carve out some money so that this thing is studied and we can lay claim to the best civilization that the world ever knew of. The civilization that made Egypt to be on our nails. I'm sure if this is in America, the America will not allow us to rest. It will be broadcast all over the world. If this is in Europe, the Europeans will not have a rest until they sing it to all the world that they bequest civilization on the world. Now Africa got this, and we are doing nothing about it. The DNA claim that says that we are the first people in the world, that it is out of the Africans that the rest of the world evolved from. We did nothing to establish that, and we are doing nothing to uphold it. When are we going to stand up and be counted? When are we going to be people of ourselves? We cannot blame the Europeans for the precarious situation in Africa now. We are making money and making a lot of it. Oil, all the minerals, matter of fact, is located in Africa. And we are milking money from it. But embezzlement and corruption do not allow all those money to see the daylight. And now, this Richat in Africa, the eye of Africa is joining, and it will be blind very soon when Europe will establish a theory that claim it for themselves. And that time, Africa will start jumping up and down. What a shame. Now is the time to stand. Let the Organization of African Unity, as they were called, or as they are now called, AU, African Union, raise money to go and study this place in Mauritania, that we will be able to establish for ourselves and for our children to come some dignity. We have been robbed of all our dignity. What is the black Americans doing? They shout up and down, establish things that want to bring them back to Africa. They want this, they want that. But this is what will give us dignity. Dignity more than what we can even dream of. And it's right on our laps. It's just placed on our laps without us fighting for it. Why don't we just do something to claim it before our eyes go totally blind? Because before we rob our children totally of all dignities, let us wake up and smell the coffee. Africa should wake up and smell the coffee. The eyes of Africa should be clean, remade into something that will generate money for Africa. If we establish it, we put hotels there, we advertise it, it will bring revenue, untold revenue for Africa. Let us start doing something and not sleeping. Africa, wake up and smell the coffee. Thank you for listening to this broadcast. And if it is seems to you like mud that wet you, so be it. Thank you.